moving quickly, another handoff to Rankin. Rankin finds a hole, he's at the 30, makes it to the 20, he's got one man to beat. Rankin walks into the end zone. Into the backfield, Braden Wright looks over top, he's going to try to find a man, he's got Alec Tatum. Tatum bobbles it, but he's in the end zone. What a connection between Braden Wright and Alec Tatum. Handoff to Rankin, Rankin right up the middle, and he's in the end zone for a Bearcat touchdown.
You that the views expressed in today's show do not reflect the views of KZLX, KNWT, or Northwest Missouri State University. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy the show.
Welcome into the Weekend Sports Kickoff here on KZLX LP Maryville. Sam Steimer along with Sam Reeves, Stephen Mers, and David Dirks back with us for this week. Last week we had Sam Gall on the show. This week David's back. We kind of been doing some flip-flopping, but David, nice to have you back on the show.
Good to be here.
How's everyone else doing on this Friday?
Just wonderful. Can't complain. Things are good, yeah.
As we're live on KZLX LP Maryville, also streaming live on the KNWT Channel 8 Facebook page. As we got a lot to talk about, but first we're going to get into some Northwest sports. As last week there was quite a bit of Northwest sports, and Northwest played the MIAA tournament here at Bearcat Arena. They won the first two games, and then unfortunately fell in the conference championship to Washburn. But first, we'll talk about those first two games a little bit. We had the lead up to the semifinal game on Friday. So last week we talked about the semifinal. Haven't been able to talk about the shot heard around the MIAA at Tyler Guyman, but we'll get to that. But Northwest beats Emporia State 100-61, and then beats Central Oklahoma 104-72, and then they meet up with Washburn in the MIAA championship as Washburn took down Missouri Western in their semifinal matchup. And we knew we were in for a good game, and we got exactly that. These first two games in the trilogy of Washburn Northwest went to overtime. Were very good games. The third in the trilogy was nothing short of it was probably the best of the three.
Yeah, that's what I was going to even say, Sam. Was the first two games, like you said, went into overtime. We knew this third one would be a thriller. But we didn't think necessarily, okay, well, can the third one go to overtime too? And this one obviously did not. But I agree with you. This third game might have been the best game of the three.
It definitely, one of the best Northwest games I've seen in a long time. Tyler Guyman winning the MIAA tournament championship on a half-court shot.
It's closer to three-quarter.
Yeah, closer to three-quarter.
That was a deep shot.
It was deep, and he got it off in time. It was really, even before it went in, honestly, right as the buzzer sounded. So he got it off well before the buzzer sounded, and it just kind of shocked Bearcat Arena and shocked us in the booth, me and Sam, and we saw it both times now. Northwest played in Washburn on their home court and lost, and that's not something we're used to seeing. Tyler Guyman, kudos to him. I know, Sam, you mentioned he hit a half-court shot at Blue Valley High School in his career, and picked up right where he left off at Washburn, hit another one in a much bigger situation.
I guess it pays to practice that every time I practice.
I guess. I know my dad, he used to practice that, and he kind of put a little reward to it. He used to put those gold $1 coins, like he put like a roll of them at midcourt. It's like, okay, whoever hits the half-court shot wins the roll. And so
competition.
And so I don't know if Washburn does something like that to work on those half-court shots, but what a shot it was by Guyman. And it was a back-and-forth game. The entire second half, really. Yeah. The first half, not so much. Washburn going into the halftime break up 30-19, but Northwest battled back. Just came up a little bit short on what was March Madness. That shot is March Madness.
Yeah. And I think it was kind of good for Northwest, right? I mean, I don't know the win streak we were on, but
I think it was 17, 18 games, something like that.
So I mean, this stung a little, right? We're used to like Trevor hitting that double clutch left-handed buzzer beater, or like Hawkins making a free throw to get that win for Northwest. But this really hasn't happened to Northwest a lot.
It really hasn't.
These crazy plays against us. So I think it was good going to the tournament. Like, they kind of know what it feels like, that sour taste of that loss. And I think they'll be ready.
They hadn't lost in the MIAA tournament in 5 years. They were going for their sixth straight MIAA championship now.
It doesn't hurt to maybe poke the bear a little bit
It
before
doesn't.
they go into the tournament.
Yeah, definitely. Now we'll head over as Northwest. They're done at Bearcat Arena this year. That definitely leaves a sour taste in your mouth if you're the Bearcats and also a Bearcat fan, because the last time you'll play on your home court this year was a loss. But you have an opportunity at a national championship, still number 2 team in the Central Region tournament, and I don't like what the committee did and the region, as Northwest is on the MIAA side of the bracket, as they'll have Washburn and Missouri Western take on each other, and the winner of that game will take on Northwest Sunday. And then I believe it's Minnesota State Moorhead and Wayne State.
Yes.
That'll either one of those two will take on the Northern Sun champion in Northern State, the number 1 team in the Central Region tournament. So I just don't like that. How Northwest is going to have to go through Washburn or Western again to get to that Sweet 16, and I would have loved to see a Washburn Northwest game to go to the Elite 8.
Just a little bit farther down
Sorry,
the line.
Stevie, go ahead.
Exactly, I was going to say, Sam. Just a little bit farther down the line. You don't want to waste. Obviously, the show they put on this entire season, not just this last weekend, but this entire season. You really would think they would try to make a primetime game out of that, but I don't know. I guess that's how it works sometimes.
Well, now shift gears to Northwest baseball, as they are in action right now. Actually, I believe, right? They have
they
a
are. Second game of the doubleheader.
The doubleheader was today, not tomorrow. They did change that. So they won the first end of the doubleheader at 11 a.m. today, 5-2 over Rogers State. And now looking at the live stats, Northwest up. Second game has not started yet, actually. So maybe not quite sure why it was scheduled to start at 2, but the second head of the doubleheader not started yet. But Northwest baseball, got out to a little bit of a struggling start. They're 4-6 on the year, so they had a little 3-game losing streak in late February into early March, and now they've kind of picked it up a bit with a win against Emporia State and then a win today against Rogers State. So they're starting to pick it up again, or the Bearcats.
It's good to see because, this Northwest team has struggled a little bit, to start the season off. But, this team is talented and is capable of, getting off with a few wins in a row here. So it's good to see. We got the team Rogers State, which I believe this Bearcat baseball team has never played before because they were supposed to play last year. But the season got called off short before the game.
This is the first year that Rogers State will be in the MIAA
in baseball.
In baseball,
yes.
at least.
So it's good to see Northwest taking advantage. Had a nice late inning win in game 1 today. Game 2 should be coming up soon, we think.
Hopefully.
And then game 3 pending weather tomorrow. So it should be it's good to see Northwest rattle off a few wins right here.
And pending weather tomorrow, we will have that on KZLX if weather is pending. If it's raining, we're probably not going to have.
Chance of rain.
There's a chance of rain. There's 70% or something like that. There's somewhere around 70 or something around for chance of rain. And, I'm not quite sure if, I'm sure the game will be played. But I'm not quite sure.
Our equipment may not want to get wet.
Our equipment may not be able to handle the rain quite like the players can. Before we take a break, we'll now switch gears to volleyball. Volleyball on a bit of a break.
I was going to say, doing very. I thought you were going to say a bit of a run right now.
Well, they're on a bit of a run right now, 4-0, 1-0 in conference, but they're on a bit of a break right now as their last game was February. Actually, their last game was March 6th. Wow. Now, they do play tonight, though. They restart their schedule tonight against Nebraska Kearney, a good volleyball program in Nebraska Kearney. They take on the Lopers in Kearney. Then they travel to Hayes, Kansas tomorrow to take on the Tigers, and then they're back in action next Wednesday against Missouri Western back at home. So Wednesday, Bearcats back at home against the Griffins. And volleyball on a roll right now, 4-0. We'll see if they can get a win against a very good Nebraska Kearney team. Sam Steinmeier along with Sam Reeves, Stephen Mers, and David Dirks as just now getting into our college basketball talk. Just talked about Northwest sports as their NCAA tournament It's just starting on tomorrow. The tournament starts, but Sunday is when Northwest will be back in action. But things are starting to heat up in Division I college basketball. We've had a few, conference tournaments kind of, come to a halt. Not necessarily come to a halt, but a few team seasons come to a halt as Kansas, Duke, and Virginia all had to bow out of their conference tournaments due to COVID. And, just looking at that, you kind of getting flashbacks to last year. And, the NCAA needs to put a hold on this, to try to find the best possible way to get all these teams in March. Because, what's going to happen if, a Final Four game between, Gonzaga and Michigan, or Gonzaga and Illinois, whoever, and
or Illinois and Michigan, or whoever it happens to be between.
Whoever it happens to be between. I just put in Gonzaga there because they're the number one team in the nation.
That's okay. They should be in the Final Four. You should be safe there.
But, what happens if, a Final Four matchup happens and, one of the teams in the Final Four has COVID? Are you going to just let the Nets team go into the national championship? Or are you going to wait till that
delay
it till the Final Four can be played?
That's tough.
Because it's easy to do it with the conference tournaments because a lot of these teams, thankfully, I mean not necessarily thankfully because COVID, never want to have COVID on any program, but the majority of these teams, aside from Duke, Virginia and Kansas have already solidified that they will be in the tournament. They're good enough. They're fine. So their conference championship doesn't really mean much. Obviously, they would like to win it to get that automatic bid, but they're going to be in March. Now, for Duke, it really is not fun for them because if they would have beat Florida State, I think they'd be in the tournament.
Absolutely.
They would have been in. And so that's heartbreaking for them. Another season ends via COVID for them.
That is tough.
Tough pill to swallow for Coach K and company. But just what can the NCAA do to maybe combat this? Because I'd hate to see someone's season end in March, in the tournament, just because one player has COVID.
The biggest problem here is there's not really much that they can do, and we've kind of learned this for the last year, is once sports, started coming back in life in general, COVID has a mind of its own.
It does.
And there's really nothing we can do to change that. So as much as the NCAA will try, and I commend them for doing so, because I would love to see the whole entire tournament go on without any issues, but honestly, it's just kind of saying a prayer and hoping, and wearing your masks and social distancing out, when you're off the court as much as they possibly can. But they've already been doing that. They're doing that at the tournament, and sometimes you do everything right, and it's still, going to bite you.
I don't think we'll have this issue though when we get to Indianapolis, or at least I hope I don't.
I don't know.
You're right, because it's a bubble.
Because it's a bubble. It is a bubble.
Okay.
You go straight from the hotel to the gym, back to the hotel. You can't go for a walk outside the hotel. You can't even leave your room. You
can go to like your team area in your room.
Yeah, your team has a ballroom that you can kind of de-stress, get out of your room, stretch your legs, and then you go back to your room. You can't. Other than that, you can't leave the hotel. And that's good. I'm glad they're putting these players in a bubble because I want this tournament to happen. But these conference tournaments, aside from Duke was different. Duke was traveling back and forth from Durham to Greensboro to the conference tournament because it's only a 45-minute drive or so from Duke to the arena in Greensboro. So maybe the player in their program that got COVID, got it from somewhere on campus. But even then, Duke, their players are separated into a hotel that was on campus. They're not even in the, they are separated from everyone. So they were already kind of isolated anyway. So you have these.
Big 12 was the same way. They were on a hotel too.
And the Marriott is right there next to the Sprint Center.
You don't go anywhere.
It's only a couple blocks away from not the Sprint Center anymore, but the T-Mobile Center. It's right there.
That sounds weird.
It does
That
sound
sounds really weird. I do like it pink though. It is kind of cool now.
I think of a couple things they could do. One, right? You mentioned this, I believe, before the show, right? If this continues to happen today, tomorrow, cancel the tournaments and just have them prep bubble for the NCAA tournament. But the only thing I can think of is we hit that Sweet 16 and a team has to quarantine. you might have to go so far as to like postpone the game.
You gotta.
Right?
These are
216 Elite Eight Final Four, right?
Yeah.
Postpone and make sure that they can play the game.
These are two. Just got done with our college basketball talk, and now we'll switch over to the NFL. As there's been a lot of news so far. As we kind of had a little bit of stagnant news, but this past week, guys got released, guys got franchise tagged. The franchise tag deadline was, I think, Tuesday, something like that, and also, a certain quarterback got a deal, that certain quarterback being my quarterback, Dak Prescott, with a 4-year, $160 million deal. Finally.
How do you feel about it?
I love it.
Okay.
I love it. He deserves it. I've been saying, Dak is, a top 10 quarterback. He is our offense. He was on pace to break a passing record last year, and was playing really good until he got hurt. And unfortunately, he got hurt, and everyone was like, "Oh, are they going to pay Dak? Are they going to tag him again?" I thought they were going to tag him again, but thankfully, they got him signed. It's a 4-year deal. It's front-loaded, so later down the line, we can, not pay Dak as much, and also, keep some of the younger guys around. He's getting paid $75 million in the first year.
Wow,
A lot of money.
Yeah, I mean,
got to win games.
I like this deal a lot as a Packers fan because, Dak has great success versus the Packers. Sam.
Ooh.
We don't play the Packers very much.
I'm just playing. I was just
don't.
playing with you.
You
I'm just
don't.
get you.
It doesn't matter.
I
but-
Catch it?
I really like the deal, actually. That's great. Dak shows a lot of heart out there, especially this past season. He was out there doing absolutely everything he could to win. He was putting up phenomenal numbers. His defense sucked.
His defense was
Yeah,
terrible.
but he
atrocious.
was essentially a Dallas Cowboys. Zeke really wasn't. as
Zeke was
explosive.
bad. The offensive line
He was
wasn't
the
great.
Cowboys. So, yes, Sam.
He was the offense.
I'm with you. This is a great deal. Didn't mean to upset you with the whole
No,
Packers
you didn't
comment.
upset me at all, Steven.
I will say they were pretty injured too. So if
They were
those guys
very
can
injured.
Get back healthy
Yeah.
with now Dak fresh, ready to go.
I don't know if they're a contender yet for the Super Bowl. I mean, I'd love it if they were, but I think they just need a little bit more pieces
At least
on the
they're
defensive
realistic.
end. Also, they restructured Lael Collins and Zach Martin's contract, so they have $18 million in cap room added on. And I don't think they were under the cap, so they got some cap room to play with. Maybe they hand out, a deal to an offensive lineman. There's 2 that just hit the market, in Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz. I don't know, and, those 2 are coming off of injuries and are kind of old, so I don't know if I'd want the Cowboys to go after those 2.
Yeah.
But the Cowboys have money to play with if they want to, sign someone on the defensive side and maybe an offensive lineman as well.
That's not a bad move at all. Defense is where I would start with, especially.
Yeah,
They
definitely.
struggled last year.
But going back to Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz, the 2 Chiefs fans in the room, how do you guys feel about that?
Oh man. Well, it was kind of surprising at first when I woke up to the news. When was it? Yesterday or the day before?
Yeah.
But when you really dive into it, it makes sense. And the other reason, that it was shocking is when you look at it on the surface, you're like, well, everybody saw in the Super Bowl that offensive line is the Chiefs' problem. Why are they cutting people? Well, it is. They're going to need to sign people, draft people. They're going to need to do a complete overhaul of that, offensive line, and that's what they're doing for good reason. Because Eric Fisher, he was a little bit more of a surprise than Schwartz was. He's not quite as old. He was the first overall pick in 2013, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
But he is coming off of a major Achilles injury, and that's one where you don't know for sure how they're going to come back. Schwartz, I'm not surprised at all. I was surprised at first, but when you really dive into it, it's completely the right move. He's getting up there in age, big time, and he's had a back injury and a major back surgery this offseason. So, and he hasn't been able to stay on the field consistently for a couple of years now. So, as much as the Chiefs ultimately need a lot more offensive line help, I don't know what you would have gotten out of these 2 guys at this point in their career. And they've had one heck of a run with the Chiefs. Both of them have. And they've won a Super Bowl ring with the Chiefs, so I wish them the best of luck. And I think, as a Chiefs fan and from an organizational standpoint, it's probably the right decision.
It's Weekend Sports Kickoff. Sam Steimer, along with Sam Reeves, Stephen Mers, and David Dirtz. It's time for Off My Rocker, everyone's favorite segment where we just throw out our absolutely insane takes. And should be fun, as I'm sure we'll have some mostly college basketball, as it's coming down to March. March Madness is here. The NCAA tournament almost here. But who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Steven.
I'll start her off here. Okay, I'll just actually, contrary to what you said, I'm going to do NFL.
NFL. Mine's NFL too. So
Okay, nice. I'm going to go down south, down to Florida, and talk about Tom Brady and his new contract.
4 years.
4 years. So my off the rocker is Tom Brady will win his 8th ring this year with ease, and decide that he's just going to ride out he's going to win the year after.
So he's gonna
and then the year after and the year after. He's going to get 4 more rings.
He's gonna get 4 more rings.
5 for 5 in
That's
Tampa
pretty
Bay.
off the rocker.
Bye-bye.
5 for 5 in Tampa Bay. That's my off the rocker.
You're in the next neighborhood over, rolling down
So
the
he's
street.
gonna win what? I'm not gonna math. What is it?
12?
12 rings.
12.
12
No.
rings is what it is.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
12. That's
12.
12 or
That's
11
right.
something. I'm not
12.
going to math.
So he's gonna win
11.
12 Super Bowl. Is he gonna retire after that?
See?
At age 47.
And then he gets a 5-year extension. No,
I don't know. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
Plays till he's 60. How about that?
Honestly,
That's right.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did, like, after this extension and he does, like, end that contract on a Super Bowl win. I wouldn't be surprised if he kept going until he's 50. But no, he's not going 4 for 4.
You are in the next neighborhood rolling down the street.
Yeah,
That's not
that
gonna
would
happen.
honestly, I think they have to shut down the NFL if all that
Yeah,
was
he's
done.
gotta,
It would.
they gotta
more of a
make
problem.
Tom Brady retire if that happens.
Put him in his own league.
Yeah, that's right. He can play against his
He
kids.
can play in the CFL, win a couple Grey Cups.
That's what I'm
There you
saying.
go.
Go over there and
That's a good idea.
mess with them for a little bit.
And so, you know what? I'll go second. I'll save it for you two to go last. As I'll stick with the NFL. I'll stick with Steven. So Dak Prescott, he's got a new 4-year, $160 million contract. I think, and also Carson Wentz's contract that he got from the Eagles, that kicks in this year. That starts. So his 4-year deal starts this year. I think Dak Prescott will finish this contract as a Cowboy. Carson Wentz will not finish his contract as a member of the Colts.
I like that.
They'll get
That's
rid of
good.
him.
You think
That's
they'll-
good.
Because he's going to be bad.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, okay, I'm with you on that one, Sam. You're not completely off your rocker, but I don't. Man,
Carson Wentz, and I don't know if he just.
I can see Dak staying for sure.
Because Dak has said he wants to be a Cowboy for life.
Yeah, but a lot of people say stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
a lot of people say stuff. But I think Dak will finish this contract,
Yeah.
barring like a career-ending injury, and Carson Wentz will play maybe a couple of years in Indianapolis, and they'll realize, oh, this guy's not good, and we'll get rid of him.
I give him 2 years, man. Maybe halfway through the second season.
I can go next.
So I'm
You
not
sure you don't
off.
wanna go,
You're not
okay,
completely
go,
off your rocker,
David,
though,
go
Sam.
last.
I like
go
where you're
last,
going.
David.
All right.
Yours is going to be better than mine. All right, here's my off my rocker. I'm going to go with I know the bracket, as it is according to Lenardi now, it would not work out this way, but it's not set in stone that that's how it's going to happen, so I'm going to say it anyways. The 4 teams in the Final Four will be 2 teams from the American and 2 teams from the WCC. That will consist of Houston, Wichita State, BYU, and Gonzaga.
Wow.
And Wichita State will play Gonzaga. BYU's going
surprised-
to lose.
I'm surprised you didn't put BYU in there.
I did that because if that would make me really angry if I got my off my rocker right because they won. So I'm not going to do that. BYU's going to lose in the first round of the Final Four to whoever. And Gonzaga and Wichita State will play each other in the championship game.
Who's winning?
Wichita State's winning.
Oh, you're off your rocker, man.
No, I think you're
gone.
But I'm on my rocker until the championship
Yeah,
game.
yeah, you're good till
Of
then.
course I am.
Yeah.
Of course I am.
You get to that. I would love to see a Final Four Gonzaga BYU. I would
That
love
would
to
be
see.
incredible.
But unfortunately, it's not going to happen.
No, I like that off my rocker though. It's pretty
It's a
good.
good one. It is a good one. But yeah, you're off your rocker.
Yeah, I'm not even close to on it either.
No.
All right.
David?
MLB.
MLB.
Okay.
I
I
finished
guess
with
only
baseball.
one of us did March Madness.
I like the diversity here.
I
This
do
is good.
too. I
This
thought
is
we were
good.
going to do mostly March Madness. 2 NFL, 1 March Madness, 1 MLB. I like it.
Kansas City Royals are going to win 87 games and get a wild card spot.
Ooh, yes,
Ooh,
yes,
okay.
please.
Anything else?
I think you're on your rocker that time.
I think you're off
You're
of it.
pretty close, honestly.
No.
I mean,
the
87 games is a little
No.
high.
That's
Sorry,
way too,
88 games. There you go.
that's way too high because the Royals are going to be 4th in that division.
No way.
They're fourth.
Well, actually, that's possible, but
White Sox
that
1.
reaction was too much.
White Sox 1.
Yeah, of course.
Twins 2.
Royals 3.
Indians
4.
3.
No.
Indians 3.
Uh-uh.
Royals 4. Tigers 5.
No, I think the Royals are 3rd and they challenge the Twins for 2nd.
No, absolutely. No, they're not there yet. They're another year
I'll
away.
give you that. I think they're neck and neck with the
They're
Twins. though.
they're a year away.
I
They're
don't
a year away.
honestly, if I was thinking about this logically,
Pitching's too young.
they're not neck and neck with the Twins, but I think it's very possible that they challenge the Twins.
The
for
pitching's
second.
too young. They're a year away.
I think realistically
So
you're
you're
correct.
off
Pretty
a
off.
bit.
You know, you never know.
I think you might be the
Well, I
closest
do,
to being
but-
on your rocker of anybody here. Other than no, Sam, you
Sam's
are.
pretty-
Sam, you
I
are.
thought I was.
You are. You
Yeah.
are. Never mind. You are.
David is, I think, in the same boat. I mean, he's less so than you two, but he's further away from me because I think this Royals team's just too young this year. They're a year away.
Yeah,
They're a year
sure.
away.
Yeah,
from
I
me.
think realistically you're probably right.
Yeah, but
And
one can only
I'm
hope.
not blinded by bias the same way I am with
Yeah,
the
that's right.
Rays.
That's right.
The same way. So,
Gonzaga,
when-
the Rays, Cowboys.
yeah, when I
etc.
say stuff about my team, I'm blinded by bias. But, the Royals, I love them. I hope they win 87 games. They are my second favorite team, but I don't think they
I'd be
will.
happy with like 75, 77 games. That'd be pretty good.
As
Yeah, if we can get
That'll-
to 500, I'll be thrilled.
That'll do it for the Weekend Sports Kickoff this week on KZLX LP Maryville. Tune in next week. We'll have all of the March Madness we can, as we'll definitely have more games to talk about. Also NFL, MLB, that will have NBA. But nonetheless, we'll have a bunch more to talk about next week, as it's sure to be a crazy week, especially in college basketball. But thank you for listening, as this has been the Weekend Sports Kickoff.